Chapter 127 and 128. The Divine Tree, holding the spirit orb that is sealing Chi-Z inside, discovers that Chi-Z is sound asleep. The Divine Tree whispers, "Is this guy still sleeping? Do whatever needs to be done, we'll talk about everything else after it's all over, now continue to take risks." Having said that, the Divine Tree throws Chi-Z forcefully. The spirit orb containing Chi-Z whizzes across the sky, creating a green streak of light in the dark night. The nine-tailed fox has observed this and sensed Chi-Z's breath, knowing that Chi-Z has been rescued by the Divine Tree. The nine tails then shouted loudly, "Hey bull, get ready to catch someone." The black bull was startled and turned around to look, then he immediately understood because the aura of the panda was getting closer and closer. Immediately, anti-gravity was activated. The spirit orb containing Chi-Z was gently lifted in midair. The panda is sound asleep, floating in front of them. Everyone is surprised and affectionately looking at this brave panda guy. The panda's body, with hundreds of wounds, curled up sleeping soundly in the spirit orb, looks really pitiful. The nine tails blocked the dark monsters and ordered everyone to quickly take the ninth away. The white snake held the panda in its mouth, immediately turned around and left. It must quickly take the panda out of the combat area because his body is in a very weak state. As long as the spirit orb is destroyed, he might die immediately. Unfortunately, a horde of shadow beasts blocked the path of the white snake. These shadow beasts seemed to be endless in number. No matter how many were killed, more would appear. The white snake was panicked and couldn't react in time. The nine-tailed fox saw this scene and felt truly powerless. She could only exclaim, "This is bad!" Her eyes filled with worry. But boom! A loud collision sounded, and dust filled the air. From within the dust, a familiar bright yellow light shot out. And a dark monster with shiny white teeth had its jaw broken. This small hand had torn through space. It was the panda. The hero had returned, still cool despite being covered in wounds. The dark monster was punched away, and Chi-Z slowly fell from midair. Chi-Z, who had returned from hell, seemed to have recovered some strength and stood in front of the ferocious shadow beasts, looking full of vitality. But suddenly, the panda remembered something. Hadn't he already died? It turned out that the punch just now was just the natural reflex of a warrior. Chi-Z was very confused, thinking that he was dreaming. Clearly he had been swallowed, had reviewed his entire life, and had died in regret, but now everything became very vivid. While he was still confused, suddenly there was a chorus shouting, "The ninth!" The panda immediately looked back and saw the white snake, the mutant bull, and the nine tails, his beloved teammates. It was too surreal. But he couldn't hold back his tears and cried like a child, saying with a choked voice, "You guys! Why? Why are you here?" Seeing his confusion, the fox gently explained to the panda that he had indeed been eaten, and the master had come to rescue him. The panda was surprised, not expecting that the Divine Tree would also come here. He was so moved that he stuttered, "What the? The Divine Tree also came?" The nine tails calmly said, "Not only the master, but the entire Misty Mountain army has come, each with a task, all working hard to protect you and what you are protecting." Hearing this, the panda could only remain silent, not saying a word, but his heart was throbbing with emotion, so moved that there were no words to describe it. The nine-tailed fox also fell silent. Then, thump! The nine tails used one of her tails to slap Chi-Z in the face, causing him to fly backwards. The mutant bull was startled and shouted, "What's wrong, sister? Wasn't he seriously injured?" Chi-Z did not resist at all, just lay on the ground rubbing his cheek and whispering, "Sis! Big sis nine tails!" In fact, the punch was not dangerous at all, just like when a mother slaps you when she finds out you stole her money. The nine tails at this time sternly looked at Chi-Z and scolded loudly, "Why didn't you call us?" Chi-Z was like a child who stole his mother's money, stuttering and stammering. He was about to explain, but the nine tails angrily shouted, "Why? Why did you go and do something as dangerous as this alone? Are we not worthy to fight and support you?" The panda gritted his teeth and remained silent, unable to say anything. Of course, saying nothing is good when a woman is angry. You as a man want to argue with her? The nine tails had calmed down a bit, but continued to interrogate. "Do you really think we are not worthy to fight and support you?" This was really a knot in the heart of the nine tails, and she really wanted to know this. The panda immediately shouted. I just don't want you guys to be in danger. I want everyone to live well. Oh, so the ninth is still a dreamer. After all, he is a newcomer who joined not long ago. Doesn't he know that we are all immortal under the protection of the divine tree? So the Nine Tails temporarily forgave him and gently said, We are far from dying. We will be your supporting teammates. Then the nine-tailed fox turned around and went with all the Misty Mountain warriors bravely towards the battle ahead, while the panda stood there with a puzzled look on his face. He didn't expect his team to be so cool, valuing camaraderie and not afraid of death at all. Cheesy cried loudly again, tears streaming down his face. The white snake threw him up. They were preparing to move, while the Nine Tails turned back and reminded, Go on, brother, the person you are looking for must be waiting for you. Cheesy excitedly sat on the head of the white snake and fell, not forgetting to politely bid farewell to his big sister Nine Tails. Deep in the city, Chi-Tong was busy with his creative work. He had to constantly manipulate the Earthsite to create safe spaces for the people to evacuate, but a high and thick wall was erected to separate the shadow beasts from humans. But if a dark monster crosses this wall, it will be destroyed by the monster warriors of Misty Mountain. As for Tian Cam, with an attractive appearance and friendly to humans, he was given the important task of guiding these refugees out of the war zone to a safe place. Tian Cam was quite tired. This task was really too much for everyone, both evacuating refugees, ensuring their safety, and having to fight with shadow beasts. The most tiring thing is that the number of these shadow beasts continues to increase. There is no sign of decrease even though many have been destroyed. Boom! The first monsters began to cross the separating wall. The dark spiders, each as big as an adult, with legs designed for wall climbing, they overflowed with increasing numbers. The people below immediately panicked. Tian Cam shouted, This is bad, monsters are appearing from above, everyone focus, minimize casualties. But as soon as this word came out, a series of explosions sounded. It was gunfire. And bullets rained down in the night. A barrage of bullets covered the shadow beasts. Dozens of dark spiders were immediately destroyed. Chi-Tong and the mutant orangutan turned back to look. They were also surprised. Isn't this firepower from humans? Indeed it was. The human infantry with full equipment and the protection of helicopters in the sky had appeared. They had nothing but bullets. Bullets rained down. The commander ordered, Protect the monsters and the people, suppress the shadow beasts. Hearing this, Chi-Tong was puzzled. What? The human army? Protect us? In Chi-Tong's memory it was still fresh as yesterday. These soldiers had shot at them mercilessly. But what situation is this? They sided with Misty Mountain. Although he could understand, he still felt unfamiliar. A cold sweat silently dripped down. Is there any other choice? The chairman here as well as all of humanity are placing all their hopes on Misty Mountain. The human army is on the left, firing bullets like rain at the shadow beasts trying to climb over the wall. They use spiritual bullets from rifles and machine guns, unable to use stronger firepower for fear of affecting the people and beasts of Misty Mountain. The M4A1s in their hands have been fired until the barrels are red hot. There are too many and ferocious shadow beasts. These clearly do not know what fear is, still rushing under the rain like firepower. One has breached the line, directly threatening this infantry squad, but boom! A punch as big as a bus hits straight into the temple of the dark beast. Another dark beast is rushing at the people, preparing to devour this boy. Boom! A bullet pierces its head. That's Xiao Ai. Her shooting posture is also very attractive. Xiao Ai frowns. This is the fifth beast she has killed, shooting endlessly. Suddenly her grandfather behind her yells, Be careful! A huge mouth is about to snap at Xiao Ai. She still doesn't know. A pair of small legs are running fast in space. Bing! A loud collision sound rings out. That's Chi Zi. He is biting that beast with his mouth. It's strange, a move showing Chi Zi's strength. Xiao Ai immediately recognizes it. This familiar face, it's Chi Zi. Xiao Ai yells his name, Chi Zi. Chi Zi is turning himself into a bullet, pushing back the huge body of the dark beast to one side. Suddenly he hears this familiar call. For a moment he is still dazed, not knowing who is calling him. Down below, thousands of people are in chaos. Chi-Tong is resisting the new onslaught of the shadow beasts. The ground is completely destroyed. Two people meet without appointment. The white snake has come to support Chi-Tong. Chi-Tong gratefully says. You came just in time. On the army side, the commander's voice is constantly shouting. Fire, fire, do not let any shadow beasts approach the people. Bullets are still being fired like rain. But the shadow beasts are still pouring in. The commander's voice rings out again. Destroy their clones, destroy both their original and clones. At this point, there are too many shadow beasts. The RPG squad has taken position. Damn it, shooting here? Boom, boom, boom. Firepower of this magnitude is really effective, instantly burying hundreds of mutant beasts. An RPG bullet flies off, right into the mouth of a shadow beast, but it doesn't explode. The soldier panics. Oh god, did it swallow that bullet? But the next second, the enemy returns that RPG bullet. This bullet is heading straight for civilians. Where Xiaoyai is evacuating people, Chi-Tong rushes up in horror knowing she won't make it in time. Tian-Kem screams. It's ruined! At this moment, Xiaoyai looks up in despair, unable to do anything. Everything is too fast. Suddenly an angel wing appears, cool feathers flying in space. So beautiful, it's a mutant stork, an angel from heaven. Although this guy often has bad luck, but this time he arrived just in time. One leg hooked that bullet. The soldier's eyes bulge out, sweat pouring out, involuntarily exclaiming, "Oh God." Tian-Kem also covers her mouth, her eyes wide open in suspense. Her heart wants to jump up her throat. The mutant stork uses all its strength to throw the RPG bullet away. The bullet rushes straight into the group of shadow beasts below. A sky-long explosion occurs while the mutant stork like a flying fortress leaves proudly after an excellent attack. There is such a brilliant highlight in this world again that resembles those of action movies. Tian-Kem and Chi-Tong are moved to tears. They generously praise the mutant stork. Normally it feels like this guy doesn't exist, but at important times he always appears in time. Thank you for your non-existence. Even though he doesn't exist, he always creates surprises. You are always great when you don't exist. The praise is very good. So good that the golden monkey and wild boar also feel deeply worried and confused. But basically, the golden monkey and wild boar also don't know who the mutant stork is. They look up and think that he is a member of the eagle team. This makes the mutant stork, a person who is often proud, deeply hurt. They don't know that he is also one of the members from the early days of Misty Mountain. They don't know that he has always been in the dark sacrificing silently. And when he hooked that bullet, he was really scared to shit his pants, yet people still don't know, don't remember who he is. Damn life. The army is still frantically firing. The firepower seems unable to control the shadow beast any longer. They are becoming more and more numerous, climbing over each other higher than the separating wall. The enemy has attacked from the high-rise buildings. They suddenly dive down to attack the flank of the infantry. Damn it, it's too close. Every beast jumping down causes a shock. These soldiers are like fish on a chopping board. But a loud scream rings out. Sword skill, light. A sharp-edged slash cuts a shadow beast in two, and in an instant, all the attacking enemies have been destroyed. A strong figure stands there. It's the Lord of White Emperor City, Wang Hao. Then, everyone is ordered to lie down, because the superhuman soldiers will join the battle now. These soldiers confidently step forward. They still can't believe that they will fight side by side with beasts from Misty Mountain one day. But these soldiers are very arrogant, this guy yells. Damn it, have to cooperate with these things? No need. Then he goes crazy firing. The 6 spiritual guns on him fire simultaneously, roasting hundreds of giant beasts alive, while on this side, the blue-haired guy with a kunai in his hand is passionately delivering dozens of sharp slashes, cutting enemies in half. Wang Hao with his passion is trying to shape the killed enemies. They are cut into many small pieces. This will reduce their ability to regenerate. And so it goes on. Misty Mountain beasts and superhuman soldiers fight side by side. The infantrymen can rest now. The shockwaves from the battle of those guys continuously blow them away. With this level of combat, they feel themselves no longer important on the battlefield. This 6-gun guy hears this and gets even more cocky, crazily showing off his firepower. The bear is fighting when suddenly feels danger. Turns out the firepower of that madman has swept over him and attacked him too. This guy keeps laughing haha and yells, "Go die all." This madman doesn't care about who is on his side or who is the enemy at all. He's too arrogant now. Surely next episode will be his last. End of chapter 128. Announcement of release schedule from publisher for Reincarnated as a tree novel, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week.